Assalamu alaikum students. Assalamu alaikum class 9 students. Beta, we have done whole work of chapter number 7 in our previous lectures. Today we will start up a new chapter. This is your chapter number 8 and its name is nutrition. Okay. So what is the meaning of nutrition? Nutrition means food. In this chapter, we will discuss about the food particles, that which type of food is important for plants and which type of food is important for human body. Okay, and what is the meaning of nutrition? How is it made? Okay, we will see the concept which is given in this chapter. You can see first is mineral nutrition in plants, that the type of nutrition which is important for plant, that is called mineral nutrition, and which element it consists of we will discuss in the concept. Second is components of human food. We all of know all humans needs balanced diet, so it consists of different components, so we will discuss in detail. Then effects of water and dietary fiber. Definitely with food, water and dietary fiber play very important role. Then we discuss about the balanced diet. Okay, and then we discuss about the problems related to nutrition. Okay, if a person is not taking proper food, so what disorders can be produced in his and her body. Okay, after that, the next portion of this chapter consists of digestion in human. You all of know that is very important part of human body, digestive system. Okay, and in which we will discuss in detail human alimentary canal, which starts from your mouth till your anus. Okay, then at the end we will discuss the role of liver, that why it is important for human body, and at the last we will discuss about the disorders of gut. Gut means alimentary canal. Okay, so if there is any interruption, if there is any disorder in the gut, so it can cause of many diseases. So which diseases a person can be caught because of the disorder of gut. Okay, so this is the introduction of chapter number 8, and I also want to say that chapter 8 and 9, they are two chapters are left in your syllabus. Okay, and 8 and 9 both are very important, because in your board exams, you all of know the pattern that 12 marks MCQs comes, and in subjective question number 2, there is a portion of short questions which come from chapter number uh, 1 2 and uh, 1 2 and 5. Okay, and there is another 1 2 3 and 5, and next is that question number 3. It is also consists of short questions which consist of chapter number 4 5 and 6. Sorry, 4 6 7. Okay, and the last question number 4, that also consists of short questions, and it consists of chapter 8 and 9. It means chapter 8 and 9 are very important, because question number 4, the part of short questions, consist of chapter 8 and 9. So all important definitions which I will discuss during the lecture, you have to underline, and these all are very important. These can come in as your MCQs or as your short questions. Okay, and one long questions. In board exams, they gave you 3 long questions in which you have to attempt 2 long questions. And there is a question number 5 6 and 7, and every question has 2 parts, A and B. So question number 7, long question, comes from chapter 8 and 9. A part comes from chapter number 8 and B part comes from chapter number 9. So as a long question, as a short question, these all things are very important. So before starting the chapter, I want to give you the introduction of this chapter. Okay, first, because we are talking about the nutrition, so what is a nutrition? First, the definition is given. A nutrition, it is a process in which food is obtained or prepared, absorbed, and converted into body substances for growth and energy is called nutrition. What is a nutrition? Nutrition means it is a process, it is a procedure in which we obtain, first we get the food, then we prepare the food, then we take inside body means absorb, then inside our body. In previous chapters we have discussed that many biochemical reactions happens inside our body, so and converted into body substances. Okay, definitely we take food in different ways, but when we are injured and when we have cut on our body, definitely that food never comes out of our body. Which thing comes out of our body? Blood comes out of our body. So the answer is clear that the food which we are taking, due to biochemical reactions, it is broken down into body substances and then becomes the part of our blood, and then that blood goes and goes each and every cell inside our body and gives us energy. Okay, so you have to underline these things for a definition. Nutrition, this is a first definition. Food is obtained. Okay, you never miss these words in your definition, these are very important. Food is obtained or prepared, then absorbed, okay, and converted into body substances for growth and energy is called nutrition. This is called nutrition. Now, this food is made by small particles. So, these small particles are called nutrients. Now, we will discuss the definition of nutrients. What are nutrients? Nutrients are the elements and compounds that an organism obtains and uses for energy or for the synthesis of new materials. So, what are nutrients? Nutrients are the elements and compounds. I have told you nutrients are the part of food which consist of different elements and compounds. Okay. For example, we are taking food inside our body. It can consist of proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, fats, and other things. Okay. So, what are nutrients? The definition of nutrients. Nutrients are the elements and compounds that an organism obtains and uses for energy and for the synthesis of new materials. Synthesis means formation of new materials. So nutrients, it's a definition of nutrients, and this was the definition of nutrition. So both are very important. First we have discussed nutrition. What is the meaning of nutrition? Nutrition is a food which is obtained, prepared, absorbed, and converted into body substances for growth and energy. We all of know all living organisms need food, need nutrition. So why do they need food? For their growth and to get the energy. And this nutrition consists of nutrients. So the small particles which consist of elements and compounds which organisms obtains and uses for energy and for the synthesis of new materials. So they are called nutrients. Okay. This is recalling. You have to keep in your mind. You also have discussed in your previous books. Every organism needs food. Yes, we have discussed in junior classes that food work as a fuel in the human body. Okay, so needs food. Why do we need food? For growth and energy and to function normally. Definitely, if you are feeling hungry, if you are not getting food, so it can cause of many diseases inside the body and a person cannot work properly. So why do we need food? Every living organism need food for their growth and to get the energy. Why? Because of that its body can do the function properly. I hope you understand the definition of nutrition and nutrition. So these two definitions are given in your book. You have to underline and you have to write as a short questions in your registers. Okay. Now come to next part. Now we will discuss about the types of organisms on the basis of nutrition. Okay, so types of organism on the basis of nutrition. So because of food type, we have discussed food is very important for all living organisms. So because of food type, we can divide living organism on the basis of food type. So we all of know there are two types of food. One are called, we can divide it living organism on the basis of food type in two parts. First are called autotrophic organism and second is called heterotrophic organism. First are called autotrophic organism. Auto means which make their food by themselves. So autotrophic organisms obtain water, carbon dioxide, and minerals from their environment and prepare their food, which is then used for growth and energy. This is very simple. We all of know that what is happen by autotrophic organism. They make their food. They make their food. How they make their food? They make their food with the help of water, carbon dioxide, and minerals from their environment and prepare their food, which is then used for growth and energy. So, underline this definition: autotrophic organism. This is a definition. So which example comes in your mind? So its good example is that autotrophic organism is that some bacteria, some algae, and all plants. So examples of autotrophic organisms are some bacteria, all algae, and all plants. Okay. So now we will discuss the heterotrophic organism. Who are they? Heterotrophic organisms obtain their food from other organisms and use it for growth and energy. So, what are heterotrophic organisms? Heterotrophic organisms are those living organisms which do not make their food by themselves. Actually, they get food from other living organisms and use it for their growth and energy. So, if you keep in your mind each example comes into your mind, its answer is very simple. Its good example are most bacteria, all protozoans, fungi, and animals. You also have learned these examples in chapter number 3, biodiversity. So good examples of heterotrophic organisms are most bacteria, all protozoans, fungi, and animals. So they do not make their food. Actually, they depend on prepared food and get the energy. And we all of know all on animals move all time to get the food and to get the food. So when they move for when the animals move to get the food and for shelter, so their movements are called locomotion. And you also have these things study in your junior classes. I hope you understand now. 4 definitions you have done in this paragraph. First, the definition of nutrition. Second is nutrients. Third one is autotrophic organism and examples, and the next one is heterotrophic organisms and examples. Now we will start our next topic. I have told you in this chapter we will discuss the nutrition values of plants and nutrition values in humans. Okay, now first topic is about mineral nutrition in plants. Definitely plants considered as a group of living organisms, so they all need food. So if they need food, so how they make the food? We all of know they do the photosynthesis. They get carbon dioxide, water, and light from their environment. They absorb these all things in your leaves, and they make food in the presence of chlorophyll, and then that food convert into energy form and then goes into their body. These all things we had discussed in of a previous chapter, chapter number 7, bioenergetics, that how plants make energy bonds in their body. Okay, now we will see what is written in this paragraph. Plants have the most efficient mechanism for autotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay, so what is that? Plants have the most efficient mechanism for autotrophic mode of nutrition. Autotrophic plants are also examples of autotrophic mode of nutrition. So plants get carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen from carbon dioxide and water. In addition to these elements, plants also require mineral elements for various activities and structure. This is true. We all of know these things, that carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, these things are obtained by plants from carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so from water, chemical formula of water is H2O, and the chemical formula of carbon dioxide CO2. So because of these compounds CO2 and HO2, plants can get carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen from carbon dioxide and water. This is an automatic process, but in addition, they also need other things for their growth. Okay, so these other materials are called mineral elements. So despite these things, plants also need mineral elements. Okay, so we will discuss the what are mineral elements. So before discussing the mineral element, plants also require mineral elements for various activities and structures. So before discussing in detail mineral elements, we will know about that nutrients can be divided. We will discuss about the that nutrients can be divided into two main big groups, macronutrients and micronutrients. Okay, so they are divided into macronutrients and micronutrients. So what are macronutrients? For example, carbon, underline in your book. These are also important as a definition for your MCQs. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, magnesium, potassium, etc. Similarly, the nutrients which are required in small quantities. So what is the difference between two? Macronutrients are required in a large quantity. Micronutrients are required in a small quantity. Okay. So the in small quantity are called macronutrients. So what are micronutrients? For example, iron, molybdenum, boron, chlorine, zinc, etc. etc. If any of these nutrients is not available to plant, they show abnormalities and do not grow normally. As human, as if any vitamin, if there is a deficiency of any vitamin in our body, it can cause of many disorders in our body. So like that, all plants need specific things, carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, and it's an automatic process. But despite these, they also need some nutrients which are important for their growth. So nutrients can be divided into two main big groups, macronutrients and micronutrients. So the nutrients which are required in large quantity, they are called macronutrients. For example, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, magnesium and potassium. And the nutrients which are required in small quantity means they are required in less, they need its less amount. So they are called micronutrient. Micro means very small. For example, iron, molybdenum, boron, chlorine, zinc, etc. And if there is deficiency of any nutrient in the body of a plant, it can show abnormalities and the plant will not grow normally, will not grow properly. Okay, so we can also discuss these things in next page. Come to the next page. Now you can see a table is given, and because of that you can understand it easily. Okay, the first in the table, role of important nutrients in plant life. Okay, so macronutrients and role in plant life: phosphorus, potassium, sulfur and calcium. Macronutrients, they are required in large quantity in the life of plant. Okay, so what is the role of phosphorus? Component of ATP. Okay, it is a part of ATP. Phosphorus, you can see nucleic acid and coenzyme necessary for seed germination, photosynthesis and protein formation. So this is very important. Second is potassium. Why potassium is important? Because it regulates the opening and closing of the stomata. We also have discussed in very detail in previous chapter that plants have stomata which close at night time but they open at daytime. So which element is necessary for their opening and closing? Potassium. And reduces water loss from the leaves and help to reduce the water loss. Then there is sulfur. Sulfur is a component of proteins, vitamins and enzymes. So what are sulfur? Sulfur is a component of proteins and it helps in vitamins and enzymes. And there is a calcium. Calcium activate enzyme is a structural component of cell wall. Calcium is very important for making the structure of cell wall. And we all of know the cell wall of plants is made by a chemical which is called cellulose. So the cellulose needs calcium for its growth. So the structure of cell wall needs calcium. Okay, influences water movements in cells. We all of know that in the body of a plant, water movements are also very important, in which osmosis is happen, transpiration is happen. And you also know about this thing that osmosis is the movement of only water molecules from higher region to lower region, and transpiration is a evaporation of, means loss of water molecules through the surface of leaf by evaporation. And despite these movements, many other movements are happen inside the body of a plant, and they are active transport, there is diffusion, and there is glycolysis, and many functions are happen. So calcium play a very important role in the life of a plant. Okay, and it comes in a group of macronutrients, and macronutrients are those nutrients which are required by plant in large quantity, in a large amount. Okay, so keep in your mind this table is very important. Take on your book, this table is very important because these all things come into your MCQs. Okay, for example, I have underlined component of ATP. Okay, so this question comes into your board exam in MCQs, and question was that component of ATP is. Okay, and they have given options: phosphorus, calcium, and two other options. Okay, so which is the correct? If you see the structure of ATP, adenine triphosphate. So phosphate means it has an essential element which is called phosphorus. Okay, and it also help in seed germination. And seed germination, we all of know, it is the early life of seed when it is fertilized and start its life. Okay, so this table is very important. You have to underline for your MCQs, and I hope you understand it. Now come to a next part. These are micronutrients. Above the table we had discussed macronutrient. Now we will discuss the micronutrient. Micronutrients are those nutrients which are required by plant in less amount. Okay, they play a very important role, but they required in less amount. So what is the role of these micronutrients in the life of a plant? We will discuss. First we will see micronutrients. How many micronutrients? Iron, molybdenum, boron, copper, manganese, zinc, chlorine, and nickel. Okay, now we will discuss their function. Okay, why they are important. Necessary for photosynthesis. Yes, they are the part of photosynthesis. They activate many enzymes. Okay, the less amount of these element is important. Only less amount can help into do the photosynthesis and can activate many enzymes. Then molybdenum, component of the enzyme. Definitely enzyme also work in the life of a plant, and they speed up the chemical reaction and they can reduce the reaction. Okay, so that reduces nitrates to amino. Okay, they reduces nitrates. Now nitrates is a new thing for you, because still you all know about this thing that nitrogen is present in the environment. I tell you that how nitrates are made. Nitrates, first of all, we all of know that the air which is in our surrounding, it has 79% of nitrogen in it. Okay, so when this nitrogen mix with sunlight, okay, it convert into nitrates. Nitrates means it convert into NH3 from leaves. Then it and mix with water, then it convert into nitrates and then convert into amino acids. And we all of know that all plants needs fertilizer fertilizer for their growth. So which thing is play main important role in fertilizer? They are nitrates. And how do we get these nitrates? We get these nitrates from our environment, in which 79% nitrogen is present. So when it mix with air and water, then it convert into nitrates. And when it falls on the leaves, then it enters the body of a plant, and then mixed with water it converts into nitrates and and help the plant in growth. Okay, important in building amino acids. I hope you understand it. Then next element is boron, important in sugar transport. We all of know that plants make their food in the form of glucose. So boron helps to transport sugar in all parts of the plant. Cell division. We also discuss mitosis and meiosis helping cell division for the growth of a plant, and synthesizing certain enzymes. Synthesizes means formation of new enzyme. Copper component of several enzymes. It's a part of different enzyme. Manganese involved in enzyme activity for photosynthesis, respiration, and nitrogen metabolism. This is very important. Underline here, this is also comes into your MCQs in previous board exams. Nitrogen metabolism. The important component of nitrogen metabolism is manganese. Okay, and the last one is next is zinc, required in a large number of enzymes, and chlorine involved in osmosis of water. I have told you that water movements play a very important role in the life of a plant, and osmosis is one of them. So chlorine involved in osmosis of water. And then there is nickel, required in a nitrogen metabolism. So you can see uh, two uh, uh, two elements play important role in nitrogen metabolism, that is manganese and nickel. So the option which will be given in your MCQs, you can get, it can be manganese and it can be nickel. So they both are involved. Nickel and manganese, they both are involved in nitrogen metabolism. You can see I have underlined in my book. Okay, so these tables are very important. You have, first of all, you have to learn their names. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are 8 micronutrients, and there are 4 macronutrients: phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, and calcium. So this table is very important for your MCQs and for your short questions. Okay. After that, the next topic is about what is the role of nitrogen and magnesium, and what is the importance of fertilizer. These all things we will discuss in our next lecture. I hope you understand the introduction of nutrition and nutrients, and then types of organism, autotrophic and heterotrophic organism, and then we have discussed about the macronutrients and micronutrients, and we have started that what are macronutrients, what are their importance, and how they play important role in the life of a plant. Okay, so now your lecture has been ended. Inshallah, we will do next topic in next lecture. I hope you understand it. If you have any confusion, please raise your hand. Thank you so much.